Hello everyone, welcome to this vlog. My name is Satya. So today I'll continue the part 6 of simple home network setup presentation. So as you see on the screen, I have the home setup that we have in our homes usually, right? So I described in previous 5 parts the different functionalities of how the PC or the PC LAN host 1 constructs a packet, how it sends it to the residential router, in what scenarios it will send it to residential router, in what scenarios it will not send it to residential router and send it directly to the PC LAN host 2 or in any other host in the network, and then how residential router forwards it to the ISP backbone. So this is so if you want to know more about this setup, you have to check the previous presentations or discussions where I explain in detail about the setup. So today I will focus on describing the PC LAN host 1, what are the different communication models, networking models that we have, right? So the first model is OSI model. It's a conceptual model. It's not used in the internet at all. So the actual model that is used in the internet is TCP IP model. So for conceptual detail, I will discuss about the OSI model, right? So in OSI model, so we have 7 layers. So what I mean to say is these are logical 7 layers constructed on PC LAN host 1. For example, if the host 1, PC LAN host 1 is the one that is sending the packet. The first one is the application layer. The best example is WhatsApp, right? When you're sending a message, that is the first interface which connects ourselves to the network. So that is the application layer. Then the presentation layer. So how the data has to be, whatever messages that you send, how the data has to be formatted, whether it has to be encrypted or some compression algorithm has to be applied, that is taken care by the presentation layer. Then the session layer manages the sessions. So end-to-end session is established between two users. That session is managed by the session layer. The fourth layer is transport layer, which provides reliable and efficient data transmission. That means to say that you open a port on this WhatsApp application here, then the same port is opened on the end user PC, right? Same port. So how they communicate is taken care by the transport layer for reliably having all the datagrams sent through the or the packets sent through the network are reliably reached or not. Network layer. Network layer is related to addressing and the routing of the packets. How the packets have to be routed in the network. Data link layer. It is represents physical addressing, that is the MAC address that is defined, and how the physically the frame transmission is taken care. And the physical layer is actually your cable and wireless signals through which your data is transmitted, right? So this is a conceptual model which is called as OSI model. So what is a model that is actually used in the network is TCP IP model. So TCP IP model consists of 4 layers. The first layer is application layer. Example again, I would say Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp Messenger or any other Instagram application like that. So whenever you are trying to communicate with the other user, the first interface that connects you to the internet or the network is application layer. Transport layer. Transport layer in TCP/IP model takes care of end-to-end communication, whether the port is open on this WhatsApp port and what is a port that will be sent to, right, on the remote device. So that is taken care by the transport layer. Network layer manages routing and forwarding of the packets in the network, that is in the internet. Network access layer combines both physical layer and the data link layer of OSI model, and it takes care of physically transmitting the bits onto the wire, and these bits will be appointed with the MAC address, right? So let's assume an example of PC LAN host 1 sending a WhatsApp message. When you send a message through WhatsApp, For example, it has to open a source port and it has to open a destination port, right? So that is being, if it is user datagram protocol, right? There are two types of protocol. There are more than two actually, but famously there are two transport protocols used. One is user datagram protocol, UDP, and the transmission control protocol, which is TCP. User datagram protocol does not have reliable communication, so you send a packet and it's left to the network how it routes it, and the end user receives it. In TCP, you send a packet, and for every packet that is sent, a TCP handshake is performed, which is SYN, synchronization, SYN, hack, and hack. So only when the successful handshake is performed, packet is transmitted over the reliable medium, right? So in transport layer, you determine the ports and what type of protocol you're using, whether it is UDP, user datagram protocol, or transmission control protocol. Then the next, once the ports are appended to the packet, source port and destination port, it is given to the network layer. Network layer appends the addresses which are routable in the internet. These are logical addresses, and these are called as source IP address and destination IP address, right? So once you append this source address and destination address in front of the source port and destination port of transport layer, it is given to the data link layer, right? Data link layer, which is a network access layer, part of network access layer, appends the source MAC address and the destination MAC address, which are very specific to the link, right? If the packet is sent out of the residential router, out of this residential router box, then you will use residential router IP address and the MAC address. If the communication is between PC LAN host 1 and PC LAN host 2 WhatsApp clients, then the communication is within the link itself. Then it will add the MAC address of the PC LAN host 2, right? So the packet would be source MAC address, destination MAC address, source IP address, destination IP address, source transport layer port, destination transport layer port, and then your actual packet that is being sent from the application layer. In case of my example, it is WhatsApp. Okay, so let me quickly add another window to show you one example of this communication using using the Wireshark trace. So yeah, so as you see here, there is a DNS packet. So here we assume there are 4 layers. The first one is called as domain name system, which is an application which resolves a URL to an IP address. So that application is called as domain name system, right? So it will put all the parameters that is pertaining to domain name system, and it will give it to transport layer, which is user datagram protocol. It's not a reliable communication, right? Domain name system uses also TCP, but user datagram protocol is the most used one. Here it will say the source port is 65171, destination port is always 53 for DNS, right? DNS queries. Then internet protocol, network layer. This is called as network layer. As you see here, network layer IPv6 address is added as source address, and an IPv6 destination address is added, right? And then comes the data link access layer, which is part of network access layer, which puts, since this packet is sent out of the residential router to the public internet, it will put destination MAC address as the router MAC address, and source address is the source address of PC LAN host 1. And here destination address in the network layer is also residential router destination address. So this is how the TCP IP layer is built, and the frame is the raw data, right? It consists of all the details that is present in the next 4 layers, right? So the TCP IP is application layer, transport layer, network layer, and network access layer, which is data link layer. Okay friends, so this is what I wanted to discuss as part of today's training. I will discuss more in detail other aspects of simple network setup in the next classes. Thank you. Bye.